Hey everyone, I'm 𝗙𝗏𝗁𝗁 𝗁𝗂𝗁. Welcome to this complete Next.js full course where you take you from basics all the way to building a production ready full stack task manager app. Whether you're a beginner stepping into the full stack development or someone with React experience wanting to master Next.js, you're in the right place. This course is designed to give you both theoretical knowledge and hands-on practical experience. Here is a quick breakdown of what you will learn. Basics of Next.js and its unique features, understanding routing rendering methods, API routes, styling with Tailwind CSS, Firebase Authentication, MongoDB integration using Mongoose, state management, deployment on Vercel. Finally, building a real-world task manager app. Now you might be wondering, is this course for me? This course is ideal for beginners who know JavaScript and React basics, students learning full stack web development, React dev switching from CRA to Next.js, anyone wanting to build and deploy a full stack application. By the end of this course, you'll know how Next.js works, but also how to architect and build a scalable full stack applications using modern tools and practices. And yes, you'll confidently deploy it for the world to see. Before we dive into the building with Next.js, let's quickly talk about prerequisites you need to follow along with the course smoothly. First, you should be comfortable with the basics of JavaScript and React. JavaScript such as variables, functions, objects, ES6 features, and React using like components, props, use state, use effects, etc. If you build even a small React app before, you good to go. Next, here is the tools you need to install in your system. We are using the Node.js and NPM, and the code editor we are using is VS Code, and you need to install the Git and Git. You should have the GitHub account. We'll use these throughout the course to run the app, manage packages, and push code to GitHub. Optional but useful knowledge, basic understanding of Firebase authentication will guide you through it. Knowing that what MongoDB and Mongoose are, don't worry, we'll learn this step by step. And that's it. If you have these basics down, you're ready to start. Next up, we'll set up our Next.js projects from scratch and look at the folder structure. Before we dive deeper into the code, let's take a quick overview of project we are building. We are building a task management application using Next.js, Firebase Authentication, and MongoDB Atlas. Let me give you a quick walkthrough of what this app can do. Authentication system. We integrated Firebase Authentication so users can register, log in with email and password, or even they are redirected to home page with the Google sign in also. If they logged out, they are taken to back to login screen. If you see carefully, we are building both the sign in and sign up pages here only. If the user is already having an account, if he clicks on login, it will be changing the UI with the login form. If not, we can be change that UI with that sign up page, create an account. I don't have an account. I'm just signing up with Google. Now I'm redirected to my page where I am having my tasks here. Our homepage is protected, which means only authenticated users can see their tasks. Each user's tasks are linked to their Firebase account, so they can also see their own personal track list. Now let's look at how task management works. At the top, we have an add task button. When a user click on click it, the model form pops up. Here they can enter the title, description. I'm taking it as task 1. Hello, I'm making in the in progress status. If I'm clicking on add task, on submitting, the task is saved into MongoDB Atlas and instantly appears in the list. If I click on view button here, every task in the list has a view option. Clicking it opens another model that shows the task details clearly, including its title and description and current status. If we click on edit, users can also edit their task. When they choose the edit option, a pre-filled form appears inside the model, allowing them to change the details here. Once saved, you can update the task. The changes are immediately reflected in the list. Now delete task. And of course, they are also a delete task. If the user decides to remove a task, if it will be deleted from the MongoDB Atlas and instantly removed from the task list. You can see here. We styled everything with Tailwind CSS for a clean and modern UI. The header also shows the logged in user's profile picture, and there is a logout button to end their session also. If I click on logout, it will be redirected to my login page only. If I'm redirected to my home page, it will be redirected to the login page because we are not signed in. This project demonstrates how to integrate Firebase Authentication, MongoDB Atlas, and Next.js app router to create real-world CRUD application. Users can add, view, edit, and delete their own task all within a secure and responsive interface. So that's the project we are building, a full stack task manager with authentication, database integration, and CRUD functionality. In the next sections, we will be breaking down how each features can implement step by step. In this section, we are going to learn about Next.js. Think of Next.js as a framework built on top of React. What While React is mainly used to build user interfaces, Next.js takes it a step further. It provides a full set of tools to build complete production-ready web application, including routing, rendering strategies, server-side logic, and API integration. So instead of just creating a UI, with Next.js, we can actually build the entire web application end to end. Now you might ask, if we already have React, why do we need Next.js? Well, React by itself is just a library. It helps you create components and build the UI part of your app. But what about routing between pages, SEO optimization, server-side rendering for performance, API and backend logic? All of these things React doesn't provide by default. And that's where Next.js shines. It brings all these missing pieces together in a single package. So you don't have to configure everything manually. Now, let's look at some key advantages of using Next.js. File-based routing, you don't need to install extra libraries like router, React router. Your folder becomes your route. Super simple. SEO friendly. Unlike plain React, Next.js can render content on the server before sending it to the browser. That means Google and other search engines can read your content easily. Rendering flexibility. Next.js supports CSR, SSR, SSG, and ISR. Don't worry if these sounds confusing. We will learn each of them later on this course. Built-in API routes. You can write backend code directly inside your Next.js project. No need for a separate backend setup. Performance and optimization. It automatically optimizes images, bundles, and code splitting to make your app really fast. So with Next.js, you can build full stack application with just one framework. Let's quickly compare React versus Next.js to make this clearer. React is just a UI library. It focuses only on building components. Next.js is a full stack framework. It uses React inside but adds much more routing, server rendering, APIs, and optimization. For example, if React is like a car engine, then Next.js is like a whole car. The engine alone can't take you anywhere. You need wheels, a steering wheel, and brakes. Next.js give you the full package. Next.js is used in many real world applications. Let's see some common use cases. Blogs and portfolios, great for SEO since the content gets pre-rendered. E-commerce websites, fast loading, optimized images, dynamic product pages. Dashboards with dynamic authenticated content. SaaS application, both front end and back end inside one project. Large scale apps, companies like Netflix, TikTok, GitHub, and many startups use Next.js in production. Basically, anywhere you need speed, scalability, and SEO, Next.js is a great choice. Let's summarize before we move forward. Next.js is a framework built on React. It provides routing, rendering strategies, SEO support, and API routes out of box. All right, now that we know what Next.js is and why it's so powerful, the next step is to actually set up it up in our system. In the upcoming section, we'll go step by step through how to install Next.js, how to create a new project with Create Next app, and understood the basics project structure it gives us. So let's roll up our sleeves and start with the installation process. Let's begin by creating a workspace folder in our Next.js project. First, open VS Code and click on File, Open Folder. Create a new folder on your desktop or anywhere called Next.js projects and open it in VS Code. Now, let's open terminal. You can see there in VS Code, terminal. Click on New Terminal or using the shortcut Control plus backtick. Run the npx create next app latest. It will tell that command install the latest version of the Next.js application. My next app. Or we can continue with that. It is loading and click on Y and enter. Now it will ask that what is your project name. I will create my project name as my next app. And would you like to install TypeScript? For the beginners, say no. Would you like to use Selenium? Yes. Would you like to use Tailwind CSS? In this course, we are using Tailwind CSS. So click on enter. Would you like to your code inside source directory? Yes. Would you like to use app router? Yes. You're seeing the new way of app routing in the Next.js coming up. Would you like to use 𝗙𝗏𝗿𝗏 for the next step? Yes. No. It will install all the dependencies of the Next.js application. This setup gives us modern, clean Next.js project with everything we need, including Tailwinds and JavaScript. It will take time. We'll skip to the project structure. We have successfully created the Next.js application. So type cd my next step. It will redirect to the our Next.js application and type code dot. We are now inside our project folder. This is the command opens the folder directly in VS Code. Now we can see the folder structure of the Next.js. Now we can see our my next app, which is the main directory of our Next.js application. We will be explaining all these files on folders, what it is in short. Node modules, auto-generated folder holding all installed packages. Public for static assets like images and favicon directly accessible with the browser. Source folder, the main source code folder for your app. Source/app uses the new app router system to manage routes and layouts. What is layout.js? JSX, a wrapper layout for all pages used to include common UI like navbars or footers. Page.jsx, this is your home page or root route. The first page uses C. Now, by default, the files inside app directory may come with .js extension, but since we are using JSX, I'm going to rename them to JSX. Technically, it still work, but changing to .jsx improves readability and tells developers and linters that file contains JSX code. JSX stands for JavaScript XML. It's a syntax extension for the JavaScript that lets you write HTML like code inside JavaScript. Git ignore. Tell Git files to ignore like node modules or .env files. Excellent.config.mjs sets up rules for writing clean and consistent code. jsconfig.json helps VS Code with path suggestions and imports. Next.config.mjs lets you customize how Next.js behaves. Now, what is package.json? Holds projects metadata, scripts, and all dependencies. Package lock JSON locks the versions of installed packages. postcss.config mjs locks the versions of installed packages. postcss.config.mjs required by Tailwind for processing your CSS. readme.md, a markdown file to describe your project, setup and usage steps. Now, to run your application, Go to the terminal option and create a new terminal. Just type npm run dev. The application will automatically run on the port 3000. Now go to the link localhost 3000, click on control plus left click. It will redirect to the Chrome. Now we can see that our application is successfully running on the port 3000. In this section, we are going to learn about routing in Next.js using the app router. Routing is one of the most important concepts in any web application, and in Next.js, it becomes really simple because the frameworks handles most of the setup for us. We'll explore different types of routes: static, nested, dynamic, and also how to use the link component for smooth navigation. Routing means defining how users move between different pages of an application. In Next.js, routing is file based. That means the folder and the file structure inside the app directory directly maps to URL path. No need for external router or manual configuration like in the like in the React application. Now, what is static routes? The first type is static routes. These are simple. For example, if we create a folder called about inside the app directory and add a file page.jsx, Next.js automatically serves it at /about. Static routes are perfect for pages like about us, contact or privacy policy, where content doesn't change dynamically. With the app router, creating a route is super simple. You just create a folder in the source/app, right click and click on new folder. Just write the route name like login, and inside that login folder you need to create page.jsx. This is the simple route when we are creating. That page.jsx file automatically becomes the page for the route. I'm just creating another route for my project named dashboard. I'm creating page.js. Now I'm writing code for my route login page. Just type rfc, just giving login page as a name. And we already integrated the Tailwind CSS in our project. Just we need to write the styling part. I'm giving padding 6, creating one header. I'm continuing with the my Copilot suggestions, and I'm also writing my dashboard page. Yes. Now I'm just running my application npm run dev. Now you can see the main route of our project. Just type slash login. Now it will compile. Now you seen that my login page, and I'm also showing my dashboard page. This is my dashboard page. As you can see, just by creating folders and a page.jsx file, we now have fully working routes. No config, no routing file, no extra setup. This is one of the best features of Next.js. Next, let's talk about dynamic routes. Now let's look at dynamic routes. Those are useful for when the path changes depending on data like blog posts, product IDs, or usernames. We can create them by wrapping a folder name in square brackets like slug inside page.jsx. We can use params to get the value. So blog slash hello world or blog slash nextjs routing will both map to slug in brackets, and we can display different content depending on the parameter. Just like as creating the static routes, just click on right click, create new folder, and I'm naming it as task. Inside that task folder, we again creating the new folder name square brackets id, and inside that folder id, I'm just creating the page.jsx. In this page, I'm writing, like I'm showing the id what we are putting in the routes. Now RFC task page. Now I'm just using my id, like what id I'm getting in my route. Just const id use params. I'm importing the use params from the next navigation. Now I'm showing my id what was putting in my route. I will show in the web page only. So when you see, so we'll be redirected to the page. We are just giving the route task slash 123. Loading. It is an error. What is this error? It is just saying you are importing a component that needs use params. This React hook only works in the client component. To fix, mark this file or its parent with the use client directive. Now, this is very important. By default, all components in the app router folder rendering on the server. They are server components. Okay, before we go deeper, let's talk quick moment about what is use client and use server actually means in the Next.js. In traditional React, all components runs in the browser, the client. But in Next.js, especially with the app router components, can run in two places, client and server. What is server components? These are the default in app router. They are run on the server, not in the browser. They can fetch data, access database, and return HTML. But they can't use browser only features like use state, use effect, or use params. The client components, they run in the browser. You define one by adding use client at the top of the file. They can use React hooks like use state, use effect, use params. They are needed for interactivity forms, models, accessing your params. Like real example in our project, in this route, task ID, we need to read the dynamic part of the URL like task slash 123. To do that, we use params, which is a client side hook. So we must mark this page as client component by adding use client at the top. Without it, Next.js will treat this as a server component and throw an error because it doesn't allow hooks in the server code. So reminder, server components default good for data fetching but can't use hooks. So I'll be showing again. So I'm showing again. So we are getting the task page 1 to 3. What I was written in the route, it will getting dynamically. Like I am changing with certain number. I'm also getting the number. This is the dynamic routing. Now we will continue with the other concept named nested routes. Nested routes. These are created by nested folders inside each other. For example, if we create a dashboard settings page.jsx, the URL becomes dashboard/settings. This is very useful for dashboards, user settings pages, or any structure that goes multiple levels deep. Next.js also supports nested routes, which are simply folders inside folders. We won't need this for our task manager app, but I want to show you how it works in case you build something more complex in the future. Just creating an admin page, like redirect to the app and create a folder named admin and create another folder named users. In that users folder, create a page.jsx. In this folder, I was writing code. Admin users page, where I was writing the admin users page. Now I'm redirecting to the micro. Now I'm specifying the route admin slash users. When you are hitting the route, we will getting the page. This is the dynamic routing. So sorry, this is the nested routing. Here we created nested structure with admin slash users, and Next.js automatically create the route for us. It's incredibly useful when your app has dashboard or admin panel with multiple sections. And next concept is we need to create an header. Now, now that we have some pages, let's link them together. Instead of using a regular HTML anchor tag, Next.js provides built-in link component for fast, smooth client-side navigation. So redirect to the home page where page.jsx, you're getting this, and I'm removing the content what I was defaultly getting from the Next.js application. I'm just writing my code. Next up, navigation with link. To move between routes, Next.js gives us the link component. Unlike traditional anchor tags, link doesn't reload the whole page. It enables fast client-side navigation, making the app feels like a single page application. For example, we can use link href slash go to about to move to about page instantly. I'm importing the link from the next link dashboard, login page, admin users page, and task page. Now we can redirect to the main page in Chrome. In the root directory, in the root website, sorry, in the root, we are getting the home page, go to dashboard, go to login, and go to admin. When you are clicking the go to dashboard, we will be redirecting to the dashboard. This gives us fast app-like experience. The link component from the next link ensures the app feels snappy with no full page reloads. Let's quickly recap what we are learned in this section. To summarize what we learned, Next.js uses file-based routing, static routes, fixed pages like slash about, nested routes, folder-based hierarchy like dashboard slash settings, dynamic routes, flexible paths with slug, and we use link for smooth client-side navigation. In this section, we are going to build a task manager front-end using Next.js and Tailwind CSS. We'll create two main parts, a login register page with clean UI, a task management dashboard where users can add, edit, view, and delete tasks. Later on, we'll connect with Firebase Authentication and MongoDB. But for now, we'll keep in static with local data. In the last section, we already read some of the code in the main route page. And I'm just now running the app and I'm run there. And we're able to see the page running in the localhost 3000. Now I'm gonna delete all this code and creating the home page of our task manager app, writing export, sorry, RFC means React functional component, enter, home page. I'll be removing the data. First, we will make a div. We know that Tailwind CSS already inbuilt with the Next.js. We We will directly access the Tailwind in this Next.js application. Class name with minimum height screen. I'm taking 𝗙𝗂𝗫𝗃50 and padding 8. If I save and redirect to my page and I'm reloading it, we'll see the empty content here. We'll make another div, class name, max width 2xl, 𝗏𝑥_auto. I'm writing a header now, the div, class name, flex, justify between items, center, margin bottom 8. I'm taking h1, class name. I'm taking 3xl font extra bold, taking 3900. My tasks. Now I'm able to see my tasks. Now I'm adding a button here, class name, task. You can see the button. When on click, I'm gonna create, sorry, I'm gonna create a state here, const is adding, set is adding. I'm importing from the React. I'm defining with the false. Now on click, set is adding this to true. Now I'm completed with my header part. Now I will create a list of tasks in the component section, name as task list.jsx. Task list.jsx. RFC task list. In that, I'm importing the tasks from the page. In that, I'm creating a div, and with the class name of space, I'm going to adding the space of y4. And in that, I'm going to be sending the task list from the components I'm importing. Now what I'm taking is, I will take a dummy information like dummy data with the local data and the static data. I'm going to taking the static data, const tasks, set tasks, Later we will be adding the MongoDB connection to this state. ID. I'm going to be putting ID, title, status. I'm going to be adding ID, title, and status. Status and description. I think it's going to be enough for the task manager app. And now I'm sending to the task list. Now I'm saying and redirect to the task list. And in here, I'm going to show the in the list of tasks in this component. I'm taking a map in the tasks. I'm going to be like I will take the props from here. Key is equal to task.id. Now I'm going to create a task card where it will be showing in the home page. In the components, I'm be creating the task card.jsx rfc task card. In this, I'm taking the data of task and I'm going to be writing class, sorry, class name. I'm taking background white, adding 5, rounded, LG, shadow, flex justify, between, items center, over, shadow LG, and also I'm adding transition. Now in that I'm creating another div here in the paragraph. Class name, text LG, font, semi-bold, text gray 200, sorry 800 I will take. Task dot title. And in that I'm taking another paragraph. Class name, I will take as in the dynamic way, text sm, and font I take in a medium in the dynamic way. I will take as a, if the task status is completed, it will be showing in the green color. If the task status is equal to pending, it will show in the color of If the status is pending, I want to show like text red 500. If task status is equal to completed, then I want to show as green, and the task status is equal to in progress. I want to show the color yellow. Now I will make align all correctly. Now default I will take green color. That I will show the task status. Then I will create another div here, class name next space x4. In that, now in the task map, I will send the data, the task card from the components, which will be in the folder, in the same folder. In that, I will be sending the key, task ID, and the task, and also I'm sending and also I will send this some of the states from the page.jsx in the main route. I will be taking some of the states name. The user is editing, const is editing, set is editing is false or null, and also I'm creating selected task set selected task as a null. Now I'm saving, and also I'm sending that into the task list as on view is equal to set selected task when user is clicking, and on edit set is editing, or on edit task set is editing the task. And also I will take another state, which is the form, where will be the user editing the data will also save in the form. So we are creating another state, const form data, set form data, where I am taking the title, status, description. Now I'm also assigning the task which is edited by the user. I'm also saving in that my task states. So in the task list data, I'm setting the form data, the task where I was edited, sorry, user is edited data, and also on delete and delete function, where if a user is deleting the task, we need to create that function handle delete is equal to id. And also I'm adding the alert button for the user to confirm that we if the user is want to delete the task or not. For that, confirm like that. And also I was unselecting that as null. Now I sended all the data to the task list. Now I'm here to get the data from the props. On view, on edit, and on delete. Now I'm changing it. I'm saving, and also I want to mention in that task code also where I already created a div, and I need to put the buttons here. Text gray 500 or text gray 800, and also on click on view on the task. I was taking another button, two buttons, on edit and on delete. I need to change the colors. For the edit indigo, I will take indigo 600. If the hover is taken 800, okay. And for the delete, I was taking the red one. Done. I was created the task card. We will check now in our port. I got a error where you're importing a component needs use state. This React hooks only works in the client component. We need to put the use client here at the top. Use client in the task. There is a change here also. There is a small syntax issue here. And also now we are here to able to see the task what you are given in the local data in the state. Now in the page.jsx, for the view task, I need to show the selected task where I need to show the task model where I want to create another component here named task model.jsx rfc task model. Now class name fixed insect 0 flex items center justify center. I'm gonna taking the backdrop to excel blur the bg black or not. Yeah, we are taking the blur So we need not to put the black background. And I was taking _z_index z50. Now as I was taking another div, class name, the BG white, text black, padding I was taking 6, rounded XL, shadow XL, width I was taking full, and max width I was taking MD. Now I'm going to show in the all children's here, where I was taking from the props, children and on close. In the front end, I'm going to sending the on close, on close. First I will close the component, the on close, selected task will null. Now I need to show the task view, where I need to create another component here, task view.jsx, RFC. I'm taking h2, the class name task details, not task details. I was changing this font XL, font bold. I want margin bottom 2. I'm going to taking task.title, where I'm getting as in the props. I'm getting in the props, where only showing the task description and the status here in the task view. Selected task, I already mentioned on close here. Now in the task model, where I was taking the children here, and I was creating another div here, class name, let's justify and margin top 4. Now I'm going to creating another button, padding x4, padding y2, bj was taking gray 200 and text gray 700. I was taking rounded LG, if over extension. I was naming it as close button, and also on click on close. Now I'm saving. When I clicking on view button, I'm gonna able to see the task description and pending also. Now I was created the task model and all. We need to create add task button for the div. So we need to create another dialog flow for the adding task. If is adding, I need to show the task model on close. Set is adding as false. Now I'm gonna taking h2 here, class name text excel, font for bold, margin bottom 4. Add new task here. Task form, I need to create a component here, naming it as task form.jsx rfc. Now I'm getting the data from the component form data from the home page and set form data and on submit, on cancel, button label. So I need to send this data from the page.jsx handle update task. I need to create this function const handle update task. The task prevent default, set tasks, task.map id, set dot task dot map. The tid is equal to task dot id or is editing dot id. Need to change is editing with form data. Now I'm going to set form data, the set form data and form data I was sending, and also button label as add task, and also on cancel set is adding is equal false. Now in the task form I already taken the props here, so I need to create the form here. Instead of div I was taking the form, class name space y4 and on submit, on submit. I was taking for input sorry input type text placeholder like task title. The value is form title and on change we set form data with the target value. I will take class name, width I was taking full, border gray 300, focus ring to focus ring indigo 500, rounded LG, and padding I was taking 2, and it is required here. Next I was taking the text area, placeholder I was taking description value form data dot description, on change, set form description, and also creating as input. And next I was taking a select like this, the target and required, and also I was taking the pending, in progress, completed buttons, and also button I was taking the button label as add task, and also cancel buttons also I was taking. Now I'm saving in this. Which is an error here to the T, and I'm gonna see. Now I'm gonna see is there any changes in here. For adding the functionality of add task here, I'm able to create another task, and also the description in progress, and also I'm able to add the task also, which is we need to create the add task here. Sorry for the mistake. I need to create the handle add task function here. I need to create the handle add task function here. The event default. The new task I was creating id date.now, and also form data. The set task with the task and with new task, and also set form data with title, and also I was taking as pending defaultly, and also here I need to change with e here. The user is editing. Task model, the on close is editing, and also for the edit task I'm getting from the Copilot from my Copilot. Handle update task I was put it on submit and set form, and also form data, and also update task, and also on cancel set is editing is false. So when I'm redirect to the page, I'm able to click on edit. I will also have chance to edit the tasks also. Here it is changing. Now here we are completed with the simple CRUD application. Next we need to create the sign up and sign in page, which is route with login page. It will be, if you have any doubts, I will be uploading this project to my GitHub repo, which is mentioned in the description. You're able to see the codes and all there. Now I need to create a login page here. So I'm creating a file named login, and also I was creating a file named page.jsx, sorry, a folder of login and the file of page.jsx RFC, which is a login page. Now the class name, flex items center, justify center, minimum height I was taking a screen, bg I will take 100, padding export. I was taking another div in the center, class name, width of full, max width I want MD, and also background with white color, rounded to XL, shadow XL, padding 8. Sorry, need to clean it. Yeah. Now in that div, I need to create h2 here. Class name, text with 2x size, font bold, and not background. The text center, and also the text should be gray, whatever gray, yeah, 800. And then taking margin bottom 2. Now here, I need to make sure what I was planning is by clicking on the button sign in and sign up, I need to put both the functionality in the one div. Like if the user is clicking on sign in, you need to show the welcome back like that. If user is sign up, if user is clicking on sign up, you need to show like create account, like register now, like that. So I was taking a state here, const is login. And also I was taking is login because of like if the user is already logged in, why need to be here in this page? That's why. Like you state I'm importing from the React. Now here, when we are using use state or use effect, anything which is uses from the client side only, so we need to mention the use client here at the top of the file. Now if is login, welcome back, or please login. Sorry, welcome back, or create an account here. Now I was taking para, class name, text center, text gray. I was taking 500, as important 6, text 𝗙𝘂𝗶𝗹𝗶. If is login, please enter your credentials, or please fill in the details to create an account. Like that I want to mention in the para. After that, I need to create a form here. Last name, space should be Wi-Fi, and also on submit, sorry, on submit, handle submit. I need to create this function here, const handle submit, e, dot is login. For now, we are only console login with credential because we need to add the Firebase authentication later. That's why I was now adding the console.log only. After that, handle submit. I was taking an input here, type of email, placeholder email address, value, that is email, on change should be e set email, yeah, e dot target dot value. Class name should be width of full, padding as I was taking px4, py3, and I was taking border gray with 300. Rounded LG I was taking. If I focus, outline none, focus ring blue. Yeah, that's what I need to mention here. After that, input email, I need to mention the password here also. Same as like that. After that input, I need to create a button here. This type of submit. Class name was taking with full here. PG Indigo 500 I was take. with the text with white, font I will take semi bold, and also py3 rounded LG. By focus here, sorry, rounded LG, power BG, Indigo 700, transition, duration should be 300. I will take. If is login, or need to create like a sign up, or we will mention as a register. After that also, we are creating another provider, not like with just like email and password. We need to create direct like Google, sign in with Google, like that button I also need to create. Further, now I was only created the login register button. Now I'll create another div here, last name, flex, items center, margin y the 6, the HR, class name, flex 1, border I will take as a gray, 300. Yeah, now I'll take a button here which is related to Google provider. Class name should be with full here. Flex, item should be center. Justify also center. Gap should be 2. Here border gray 300. Text gray with 700. PY I was take 3. Rounded LG I will take. Power should be PG. Gray 50. Transition I will take with the duration of 300. First, then I need to mention the image of the Google now. So I will take image tag. So not like this. The source I will take the 𝗙𝘂𝗂𝗵 here. Like this, and also with alternate text with Google logo, and class name I was taking width 5 and height 5. Then after that button, I need to mention a span here, like with the sign up or sign in button. That I will take class name, text should be SM, it should be small, font should be medium, the defaultly gray. Now if is login, login with Google or sign up with Google. What we done here, like as an email password login phase, we just added the login or sign up. And also for the button for the Google also, we will changing as like login with Google or sign up with Google. Sorry, this span should be present in the button. After the button, you need to mention a small para here, like for the sign up and the sign in button here. The I was taking margin top as 6. This text center, text SM I will take as a small, text gray I will take 500 here. If is login don't have an account, already have an account, I will continue is like this. I will take a button here, the type button is a type button. This on click set is login is not equal to not is login. And I was also mentioned the class name, and also if is login sign up or login, just like that. After that, we're able to see the login page here. It's like I'm changing a route here. The login email is not defined. It is showing email is not defined. I need to change the I need to add the states here. I forgot. I forgot it. Const email, set email, and const password, set password also. Yeah, done. So that we able to see the email address, password, and the button. If I'm clicking on the login, able to see welcome back. Please enter your credentials like that. Login with the Google. If I'm clicking on sign up again, already have an account login. Don't have an account sign up. Like that, I'm able to change. I will make a small change here. Small changes only. The text 500. Also in this also. Yeah, just in this color. Yeah, this is the login page. Before continuing to Firebase integration, let's take a quick pause and understand Context API in Next.js. Context API is a powerful tool built into React, and since Next.js is React based, we can fully use it in our Next.js application. Context API is a feature from the React that allows us to share the data globally across our application. Normally, we would have to pass props from parent to child, where becomes messy. This is called prop drilling. With context, we avoid that problem. In Next.js, we follow three simple steps. First, we create our context in a file. For example, inside lib auth context.js. Second, we wrap our context provider inside app layout.jsx, so it covers the whole app. And the third, we can use the data anywhere using use context hook. Some common use cases include authentication, where we store the logged in user, dark light theme toggles, app wide settings, or even user preferences like language or notifications. Basically, any state that needs to be available everywhere. The advantages are clear. We avoid prop drilling. Our code becomes cleaner and scalable as the app grows, and sharing state across components becomes effortless. In our project, we'll use Context API to store the Firebase user data once the user logs in. That's way our header, dashboard, and task page can all access the same user information, without passing props manually. This sets the foundation for Firebase integration. Now we are connecting the Firebase authentication with our application. Now, what is Firebase? Firebase is a Google's platform that gives us ready-made backend services like authentication, databases, hosting, and storage. In our case, we'll use Firebase authentication to handle login, to register, and Google sign in. So instead of building login logic from scratch, we'll just integrate Firebase. First, we need to go to Firebase project like console.firebase.google.com and click on get started with a Firebase project, and I was just naming it as my Next.js app. I accept the Firebase terms, continue, 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 and just ticking out India. I accept, create project. It will take a little bit time to create the project. Now I'm clicking on continue. It will be redirected to our project dashboard. Close. Here we able to see the iOS, Android, and web. We are using web, so click on web. I'm just naming it as like my project name, Next.js app. It is a nickname, register app. If you want the setup Firebase hosting also, it is if you want Firebase hosting also, it is available here. And we need to add the Firebase SDK in our VS Code in our project. So what I'm doing is copy it in our terminal, VS Code terminal, and just stopping my server and paste it. Click on enter. It will be installing all the dependencies of the Firebase. Meanwhile installing, I'll be copying the Firebase SDK folder, and I'm creating a folder here named as lib. And I was creating a new file here named as firebase.js, and I'm pasting here. Now what I'm doing is I want to secure my API keys on all here. I'm just removing the comments here. I'm just securing my Firebase config here. Likewise, I was changing with as next public Firebase API key. How was the next public Firebase is using, I will tell. And also meanwhile, I was creating a file here named as .env.local. In Next.js, environment variables are private by default. Only the backend can read them. But Firebase runs on the front end. Browsers needs access to keys for login pop-ups. So we add next public before each variable like this. It tells Next.js make this variable available in the browser too. Without it, Firebase wouldn't work on the client side. Now I'm changing with my original credentials here in the .env file. Now I need not the analytics here, and also I'm removing the analytics part. Redirect to this Firebase page and click on continue to console here. Redirect to the authentication here and click on get started. Now I'm just using the email password here, and I'm clicking on enable passwordless signing. I don't want save. And also I need to add another provider here, which is Google. Enable the mail which should be yours and save. Now we are successfully configured the authentication to our project. Now I'm creating and context here. Now I'm creating a file here named as auth_context.js. Now RFC auth context. Now I need to import from the Firebase where I installed here by using npm install Firebase. Import, create context, use context, and also I'm using use effect here. Create context and use context will be importing from the React. And now I'm importing auth and Google provider. from Firebase. Now I need to uh, I need to change the code in Firebase. Like I'm not exporting anything here, so I need to change here. Now I'm going to export const auth is equal to get auth app. Get auth is importing from import get auth, and also Google auth provider from Firebase auth. Now I'm already exported the auth here, and also I'm exporting Google provider with Google auth provider. Now it is getting from the Firebase here, and here I'm importing some states here, states and function. Sign in with email and password. Create user with email and password. Sign in with pop-up, and now sign out, and on auth state change here. Now I need to create a auth context. So I create auth context here. It's equal to create context. I'm changing here. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, I need to change this name. Now I'm getting the children here. Now I need to import const user. Sorry, I need to make a state here. User set user is equal to use state importing from React. Default it is null. Now I'm adding a loader here. Use state as true. Now I do change like this. Context.provider, context auth context.provider. Values should be user and the loading as like values props. Now, sorry, I need to change here. I think so. Maybe it is an error. Export const here. I need to change maybe. It is not a function. It's auth provider. Yeah. Now correct. So I need to add use effect here. Use effect to like a unsubscribe. For the unsubscribe on auth state changed. Like if the state is changed, we need to set the user, and the loading will be the false. Like we are changing the states. Like we are if the user is login, we need to make sure change the user details. Like with null, we need to change, and also we need to change the state of the loading as a false if once the user is login. Here I'm making another variable here. It's like const login email password. Now sign in with email password or email and password with the login. Now for the register, const sorry register is equal to email password create user with password email password. Now for the login with Google, const login with Google, sign in with the pop-up auth Google provider. Now for the logout, sign out auth. Yeah, here. No, now I need to send the login register, login with Google logout also here. Now here I need to export the use auth. Like I will take use auth as an variable where I'm importing in another files. Use auth return use context. Like I need to import the use context from the React. Yes, auth context. I'm exporting the auth context here. So I'm saving this. Oh, sorry, I need to mention Firebase auth. Yeah, here. Yeah, there is no error here. Now we need to wrap up with the provider. So we need redirect to the layout.jsx, and then we need to change some code here. Like in the body, we need to import auth provider from the lib, and we need to put the children here and also remove him here and try to click on save. Yeah, save. So now every page has access to use auth function here. So what we do here is we need to go to the login page. Here I'm just importing login and all the variables here: register, login with Google, the user details here, use auth from the lib folder here. Here I was getting the login and register, login with Google and user variables from that context. So I need to use these variables to change the user details, or if the user is logged in, we need to redirect to the main page. Like that, we need to change in our already using static. Already I mentioned here, we need to integrate Firebase. We are now adding these functionalities here. If I'm like now I'm removing console log here. I was adding await login with email password here. I need to change it as async. Now for register, I need to change like this. Await register email password like that. If the user is completed with that or login or register, we need to push the user to the main page, redirect to the home page after login. Now I need to import this router here from use router function. And also we need to navigate now. Like I'm just importing that use router from the next navigation. There are two types, from the router and from the navigation. We are using use router from the next navigation here. Now I'm just wrapping up all this data in the try catch, getting any errors and all like that. Now I'm adding catch here. Console log error, error login, creating an account error. Like also, if the I'm also defining if the user is already sorry, I need to yeah. The user is already login. So I need redirect to the home page only. I don't want to redirect to login page once the user is login. So I need an use effect which is consistently checks like if the user is logged in or not. For that, for that, I'm just using use effect if the user like we are defining user state as firstly null. If the user is login or registered, the user details will be changing it like a with the details with that JSON format or anything data. So it is not null. So it is valid now. If the user then if the it will tells us that already user is login. So we need to push that user to the home page only. So this is the way we are just checking that user is logged in or not here. Now in the front end, we need to change maybe some of the things here. In the Google like handle submit, I was just using for the form like for the login or any registration. So I need to change in the Google authentication. So in this, I have the class name and all. I don't have the on click here. So I need to change on click. Need to add login with Google. So I just use the keywords here, login, register, login with Google and user also. So we will check in the front end. Here I'm just running my app. It is starting. Almost 3000. Actually, we got an error here. Like if you're using use state, you need to mention use client here. So we need to change in auth context at the start first stage of the file. We need to mention use client here. Yeah, I will save it now. If there is error, yeah, there is no error here. Yeah, I'm successfully seeing that. Like I'm just redirecting my page here in the login. Now I'm here to see the email password we already created. Na? Like I just want to sign up with the Google. I don't have any account here. So I just click on the sign up with Google. Once I click on sign up page here, yeah, it will be showing our emails here. I just sign in with my account here, continue, and we are successfully redirect to our main page here. Now, if I'm going to login page here again, after I sign in, I will be redirected to this page only. It's a split second of redirecting. Now we are getting the user information also by the context what we are using in our project, the auth context. So we need to add a user image here and a logout button here in the my task div in here div. So what we need to do is just redirect into our VS Code. I'm just closing this and also in my page.jsx. I just need to add here with another div here. Now I'm getting the information here from the use auth, like from the context const. I'm getting user detail and login, sorry, user details and logout from use auth. So what I need to do is I just want to get the user details and the logout button I need to configure now, like to change the state to remove the user details here. So I just importing from that auth context here, and if I am console logging on the user details here, user. When we are check on the console here, we are getting the information. Yes, we are getting the information like access token and the auth, display name, email verified true is anonymous false, metadata and all. The photo URL also you are getting. So we'll be using only two data here, like the email name, the photo URL. Three. So in your future projects also, if there any requirement to that, any user details and all, we will also use this type of access tokens, display name, all the values we will be using. And in this page, I want to show the image and the logout button here. So what I need to do is uh, here, I'm already getting the user details and I just need to remove this console log. I'm getting the user details here and the logout button, logout state. So I'm just adding, like if the user is valid, like it is not null, the user is not null. I want a button here, like I want to show a image here. Like I just want to create one div here first. Now I'm just adding a button here. It is suggesting me. So I will be continuing with that class name and all. Yeah. And also a image tag. Sorry, I'm just reader to yeah. Now I need to configure the source here. The source here. I'm just want to use that user dot photo URL. Just what I'm getting from the Firebase. I'm just putting this. And now I need to configure the alternate with that. I'm just putting the name as user, the class name. I was just making the width 8 and the height 8. Rounded one I want. Fully rounded. And the border I want as gray defaultly. Yeah, if I clicking on save and I need to change it here. It's the class name, flex, item center. The gap should be 3 or 4. Yeah. Once I'm saving this and redirect my page, it will be showing here as add task, my picture here, my profile picture, and the logout button. If I'm clicking on the logout button, it will be redirect to the login page. So by that I need to make an use effect here also, just like use effect. If not user, like if the user is null, user value is null, I need to push, like I need to navigate to the home page. Sorry, home page, not home page. I need to navigate to the login page here. So I'm just configure const router from the use router from the navigation only, next navigation only, and router dot push login here, just like what I was done in the login page only. Now I got an error. Anything error? Yeah, I'm just refreshing it. Now here, if I'm clicking on the logout button, I will be redirected to the login page. If I am redirected to the home page without any or without I was logging in, I will just also redirect to the login page. This is the authentication here. What we are done, and I already have an account here. So I just want to sign in my account. Yeah, yes. This is the Firebase authentication connection with our project. Next, we'll be continuing to add MongoDB here with the task and task edit, delete the functionalities and all with connecting with MongoDB without using any static data here. So see you soon in the next section. In this section, we need to integrate the MongoDB here for the task for our task from getting from the backend, and also we need to add the functionalities of view, edit, delete here as like a CRUD application to integrate with the MongoDB also. Now we're already having this my task section here with the static data here. So what we have to do firstly is we need have an account in MongoDB Atlas. So I'm going to redirect to the MongoDB Atlas here, MongoDB cloud.mongodb.com. I need to log in because already having account here. So I'm just logging my with my account. Now in the clusters, we need to connect with this cluster. Just click on the connect, and for the drivers, Node.js and 6.7 or later, we just have to do this thing, npm install MongoDB, copy it and paste in your terminal. I'm just stopping my server here. It's installing. In meanwhile, just have to copy this URI. Just need to place your DB password here. While you are creating your MongoDB account, you need to make the password also. That's you have to remember, and we need to place that password here. I'm just copying it and I'm placing it in my .env.local, just like Mongo URI. If you forgotten your password or anything, just need to redirect to the database access and just edit your credentials here, just like I'm editing with my new password, like that. Now we are successfully taken the URI from the MongoDB, so we need to integrate in our project. Now I'm redirected to my project here. I was changing my password in my .env file. With the MongoDB, we need to install Mongoose also. Now I'm just creating a file in my lib folder named as mongodb.js. Now I'm writing my connection with my MongoDB cluster from here. I'm just importing Mongoose from Mongoose. Now my auto co now my Copilot is auto generating the code, but I need to write like I'm making sure is connected with my MongoDB cluster. I'm just defining one variable which is named is connected. I'm initially making it as false. Export async function connect db. I'm making a function here. I'm also exporting it. If is connected, return. If it is already connected, we need to return. Now making a try block here. I wait mongoose dot connect. Now I'm getting my MongoDB URI from my NV file, which is named as Mongo URI. Now I make sure I need to save my data with the DB name of my next app. I'm just naming it as my next app. I need to show any mistakes here. Now I'm just changing my variable boolean variable to true, just like we are already connected. Now I'm just console logging it for make sure let me make sure connected or not. I'm just console log MongoDB connect. If any error happens, it will be also console logging as MongoDB connection error with the error, what type of error it is. This makes sure connection with our MongoDB cluster. I'm saving it now. Now we already defined our URI, Mongo URI in our .env.local. Now we need to make sure to create a model here. Now in the source folder, make a folder named as models. In that, make a file named as task.js. In this file, we need to make a model for task like with the values of what we need to store as a task or to-do list the task. Now I'm just importing mongoose from mongoose const task schema is equal to new mongoose dot schema. I'm just creating a schema here. Now I make sure with the names of title, it is a type of string. Sorry, S should be capital. And it is required. Require is to be true. And another is, yeah, the description. It is a string. It is not required as much what we required. Now a status is a type of string also. And it will be defaultly as in progress or yeah pending defaultly. Now user ID, I make sure to create the user ID also. Type, it is a type of string and it is required thing. Make sure to access to all the users with different IDs and all. And I'm just exporting it now. Export default mongoose dot models dot task or mongoose dot model task as task schema. Yes. Now we just define the model here. Now we need to make sure to create APIs here. We need to make the put, delete, get, post. These four CRUD application. Create. We need to make sure create API routes here in the Next.js. Now what need to do is just create a folder here named as in app folder, named it as API. In that API, you need to make another route here named as tasks. We already talking about the IDs, slugs and all. We're just making another file here, name it as route.js. It is a API route where if there any changes happen, like if we click on the button, it will be executing this route only. It will be executed when we are clicking or anything. Like if you take an example, like if you are making a task and when you click on add the task, it will be calling this route API task route.js. It will be executing what we need to do. it will be connected with the MongoDB and pushing the data to MongoDB that will be executing by this route. We need to make sure to create for the 4 types name, like get, post, put, delete. For 4 we need to create. For that, but for the get and post, we don't want any user ID by that user ID to post. For editing the task or deleting the task, we need to make sure with that user ID only we need to delete. So by that, first I need to create get and post functions here in the task route.js. I'm just making sure importing, sorry, I'm just import task from where I saved my model in our directory, from models task. Now I'm making a function, async function get request. I'm just connecting with my MongoDB, which is connect DB. I'm just importing from my lib folder. Now I'm just making a variable here, tasks is equal to await task.find. Now I'm returning the tasks, return response.json tasks. I'm just getting the tasks, the number of tasks in our MongoDB cluster. I'm just making sure that response should be as JSON in that API route. Now we are completed with the get function here. Now I'm making sure to create function post. Now I'm also connecting with the DB. Now const body, the data where we are getting from the body. I'm just await, and from that request, I need to JSON that data and const updated, const new task is equal to await task dot create body. I'm just adding new task here. Now I'm just returning response.json.new task. Yes, I'm just posted that task also. Now we just done with the get and post routes here. Now what need to do is just need to make sure I create a slug here, named it as ID folder. Now in that folder we need to create a route.js. Now we need to make sure to create our put delete functions here. Now I'm just importing my task from models task. Make sure importing correctly. Yes. Now export async function put. We already done with the get and post. Now request and the params. We need to get the user ID. No? That's what we need to use params here. Now await connect DB const body await request.json here, and updated one const updated task is equal to await task.find by ID, find by ID and update. We need to make sure you use this function. Now we need to get the params.id and also the body what we need to create it already, and it is a new one. And also I'm just returning that response.json updated task. I'm just done with the put function also. Now here I'm just making delete function, delete request params. Now I'm just connecting with connect DB and delete a task with the find by ID and delete with the params.id. I'm just sending the request.json as task deleted successfully. Task deleted task. Yes. Now we are done with the routes and all what we need to execute if the user want to create or delete any CRUD application of task. So we just make sure to create this route first while we are need to execute in the main page. Now we need to update in the front end to use that APIs. Now I'm just redirecting to my page.jsx. Now here I need to delete the tasks here. Instead of, I make sure to create a new state without any data. Here, making sure some gaps here. Now I need to fetch the data, the tasks here. Now I'm just using the use effect for continuously getting the task. Like we need to update. If the user deleted one of the tasks, we need to change the UI with the new where the tasks already have. Like if there is three tasks, the user is deleted one of the three tasks. We need to show two only, not three. The third one is already deleted. So we need to continuously check what is the data and what is the task, what we need to show like that. So I just continuously for that I'm just using use effect here. Here I'm calling my route here with the we already defined. I'm just fetching tasks like it will call dot get like the get function here. I'm just fetching the tasks and then for the response what we are getting from that get function. I'm just JSON rest.json. So I'm converting to the JSON and then the data. I'm just setting the data in the tasks state. Done with getting the tasks here from the backend. Now we need to change the functions here what we are already having handle delete handle add task here. First I need to change handle add task here. After prevent default, I'm just making a variable. I'm just calling a route here, name API tasks. I'm just calling that with the method of post. I'm also want to define that method will be post and the headers should be content type should be JSON. And also we need to make this as a sync function here. Yeah, done. I'm also pushing the body with the data, the form data what user is filling the with the task. I'm also sending that data as a body in this API. Now I'm just changing this into new task with the await rest.json and everything is be same only. I'm just changing this one. Next, we need to change handle delete here. Yeah, handle delete here. In this one also, I'm just calling that API route only. Await, fetch the API tasks with that specific ID only. I just want to call, sorry, with this string type not. Yeah, with the API task and the specific ID only. Specific ID only what we are getting from the function. We need to make sure that get that ID only. Here, I just delete calls the method delete here. Now, I need to set tasks. Like in the delete function also, we are just deleting that task and also getting the information like the response from the delete function. Once you see here, we are getting response from the DB after that task deletion, the remaining task. We need to make sure set the tasks also after that deletion. We did not shown the we did not want to show the deleted task here. So that's why I'm changing the test. I'm changing the set task with the filter here with the ID what we are already deleted here. Now we are changed handle delete and handle add task here. Handle updated task also already changed. We already changed here. Yes. Ah, వస్తాను ఓ పావుగంట. Now we need to change. Now we need to change the handle update task also with that calling with the specific ID. We need to call the method put here, and also the header should be the JSON, and also body what the form data will be after editing. And also I'm just filtering out setting the task and just getting the data here. And also all should be same here also. Now I forgot one thing here. I just need to add user ID here in the handle add task with that body with the form data, and also with user ID. I need to send. I'm getting my user ID from that Firebase user data. I will also show once. The user ID should be getting from the user.uid. User.useid. UID. From that user, I'm just getting from the user, like it will be connected with the Firebase. As all we are already discussed about that. And now we are updated handle delete, handle add task, handle updated task. Now, yeah, we are done with the part. Now I'm just running my application here. npm ramdev. I'm just refreshing. There is any error here. Now there is no errors here, and we are not seeing anything here. We are not seeing anything in our dashboard. Because we don't have any task now, we are not created any task here. Now I need to show the user ID what we are getting from the Firebase. I'm just console log console sorry, I need to show console log user user. Now here we are getting the data here. So this is the UID what you are getting from the Firebase. We are using that in our application also. So that is the thing. Here you need to delete this line. Now we will make a task here. I'm just clicking on the new task, add new task. I'm just naming it as completing Oriel. Just need time. And it is in progress. I'm just clicking on add task and it will be showing here. It is saving in our database. If I'm clicking on refresh here, I'm getting the data here. Now I need to make sure check in my DB also in my browse collections. I just named it as my next app and in tasks. Yeah, I'm just getting with my user ID and the status and my description and the title here. Now I'm just clicking on view. I'm just getting the description and the status. And also if I click, I will, if I click on edit, what will be done, we'll see. If I click on edit, I'm just getting the data. I'm just naming it as tutorials done with the task. I am changing my status with completed. I'm just clicking on updated task. Now we'll see it is completed. It is changed. Now I'm just refreshing in my MongoDB here. Now you see the data is changing now. That's where we are completely, that's where we are successfully connected our MongoDB collection with our project. We have successfully created that. And also what happens if I click on, and also what happens if I click on delete also, we'll see. If I click on delete, is there any error? Yes, there is an error. Yes, there is an error in the delete function. We'll do one thing, yeah. I need to change one thing here. Just make sure to deleting the task. We'll do one thing. Just changing it as, maybe it will work. I'm just console logging my params here. We'll debug. Don't worry about that. Task ID params.id. What I'm getting is, I will check. If I click on delete, what data we are getting in our console. we are getting undefined. We'll make sure we are sending, sorry, we need to make sure we are sending the proper user ID to user ID function here. On the front end, we handle click, handle delete. Need to make sure sending the proper ID here. In the task card, the task ID we are sending here. Yes, yes, we are sending task ID on delete. I'm getting on delete and all from the task model. Delete, no, I'm not getting the on delete and all from the task model. In the task list, I think so, maybe. Delete. I'm sending the task.id here. We'll do one thing, we'll console log the task here once. Rendering tasks. Uh, the ID should be sending with the underscore. Okay. We debugged. We'll see it will work or not. Okay, now we'll check if we're getting the proper ID or not for now. Yes, we are getting the data here. So it is getting an error here. Yeah, we are successfully deleted here. In our terminal, there is showing a minor error. Just ignore it. It is just an optional error. If you want to, you need to figure it out. It is an optional. There is no error here. Critical error here. Now we are successfully created our application. We are added task. We are added task, and also we are successfully done with the view and successfully done with the updated version. Just checking with the pending update task. We are done. And also, if I hit delete, here we need to change the route here because we need to get the task by the user ID only. Now what I'm doing is I'm getting request from the user. From that, I'm getting 𝗪𝗏𝗻𝗄 new is equal to new URL request.url. In that, I'm getting user ID. User ID is equal to user ID is user ID is equal to 𝗪𝗏𝗻𝗄.get user ID. Sorry, this type of user ID. Now I'm just replaced with it with this. Now I'm just replacing this with that user ID, or if not, we're gonna get all the user ID, sorry, users task, and we need to showcase that. And in front end also we need to change with the use effect where we are getting the tasks here. I need to change this like a dynamic way, like this. I need to change the user. Now we are getting the tasks with that user ID only. Yeah, it is deleting now. Now this is the full application what we have built with our Next.js. We are just added Firebase, we are added MongoDB, and we all learned about context API and also the basics and the advanced topics of Next.js in this application. Now we need to deploy this application in the Vercel. We'll show the world how our project works also. That's it for this section. So far, we built everything on the front end using client-side rendering, but Next.js is more powerful. It doesn't just stop at CSS. It actually gives us multiple rendering strategies that we can choose from depending on our needs. Let's dive into these strategies and see how they work one by one. The strategies CSR, SSG, SSR, ISR, and dynamic paths let us optimize performance, SEO, and scalability. The beauty of Next.js is that you can mix and match these in single project. Client-side rendering. Client-side rendering is what we've been using so far. Here, the server just sends an empty HTML shell, and the browser fetches and renders the data with JavaScript. It's great for dynamic dashboards and authenticated content, but slower to load initially and not great for SEO since content isn't in the HTML. SSG, static site generation. SSG, for static site generation. In this approach, pages are pre-rendering at build time and served directly from a CDN. That makes them extremely fast and SEO friendly, but the content is fixed until the next build, so not good for fast changing data. The code uses get static props. The data is fetched once during build, and the HTML is reused for every visitor, perfect for blogs and marketing sites. Server-side rendering SSR. Now let's talk about SSR. With SSR, the page is generated on the server for each request. This means the content is always fresh, great for SEO and personalized content, but it's slower than SSG, sorry, because rendering happens on every request. Here is the get server-side props. Its function, it runs on every request, fetches the data, serves fetches the data server-side before sending the HTML to the browser. Incremental static regeneration. ISR is like the best of both worlds. It pre-builds pages like SSG and also allows them to update in the background after a set time. So you get the speed of static pages, but also relatively fresh data. The only downside is that updates aren't instant. They depend on the revalidate time. Here's get static props with the revalidate option. This rebuilds the page in the background every 60 seconds. The next user sees the fresh version automatically. Finally, we have dynamic paths. This is used with SSG and ISR for dynamic routes like blog posts or product pages. It tells Next.js which paths to pre-render at build time, so even dynamic content loads instantly. Here, get static paths generates path for blocks posts, and get static props fetches the content. This way, each post is pre-rendering for speed and SEO. To wrap up, CSS best for interactivity and user dashboards. SSG lightning fast, SEO friendly, best for static content. SSR always fresh, great for personalized content. ISR hybrid, static with background updates. Dynamic paths for dynamic routes like blocks or products. Remember, in Next.js, you don't have to pick just one. You can mix them per page for the best results. Next up, deploying our project. For deploying our application, we just have to save our project in GitHub. We need to make a repo there. For that, first redirect to the GitHub account. where I have an account here. I already having some of the repositories. Now click on new. I'm naming it as my to do application. Sorry, my to do app or application. Yeah, my to do app. Description is optional. Now the visibility should be public, and if you want add readme also, but in the Next.js there is default readme, so should be off. Now just creating my repository. Here there is a commands here what we need to do in our repository, in our terminal. Sorry. Now we need to make sure to execute all these commands in our terminal. Just copy all things. No, sorry, we will execute one by one. We need to make sure copy this command here, git remote add origin with our link. Now in the terminal here, first we need to execute git init. It will be initializing our git in our repository, existing repository. Like already I already executed it. Now git add all, git commit slash m, sorry, hyphen m, like successfully completed. Now I need to make sure I am in main. Yes. Now we need to execute this command what we have copied earlier. Yeah, it's already executed what I already deployed. Sorry, I already saved it. Now I need to git push new origin main. I'm just pushing all things to our global repository, everything up to date, because I already pushed my code to the global repository there in GitHub. Now in our repository, just need to refresh. Yeah, we are getting all the things here. Just redirect to the Vercel.com. You just want to create one account there. Once creating the account, just need to add new the project. We need to connect with the GitHub account with this account. We need to see the project here already. My to do app here 5 minutes ago. We are already committed. I'm just importing it. Just click on import, and the project name should be my to do app, and defaultly it will be preset as a Next.js. Now for the environment variables, I just need to add here. I just need to add .env.local all .env.local variables all in here. Like what we need to do is, now we need to copy our .env.local variables here. I just redirect to our page and just paste it here. That's it. And click on deploy. It will be deploying. It will take some time here. Yes, we are successfully deployed our application here. Just need to check if there any problem here or not. Now here we need to make sure edit some changes in Firebase. What we need to change is just redirect to the Firebase console. I need to change my account. Yeah, we are already having Next.js app. Now here I just need to change some settings. You just redirect to the authentication here, authentication tab, and just need to go to settings. And for the authorized domains here, you just need to add domain. Just need to add this domain here. If we don't add means what happens is, if we click on sign up with Google, it will not allow us to authenticate because it is not a authorized domain in the Firebase. So we need to add this domain. here .https and all. Just need to add. It is added. Now you just need to refresh our application. And if I click on sign in with Google now it will be appearing our authentication and all. Just need to sign in with my account. Here we are getting the image also. Like we will also add our tasks here. I'm just taking an example here. Ending add task. Yeah, we are getting all this. The working, all are working perfectly. Have some work, everyone. Let's quickly revise what we did in this tutorial. We set up Firebase authentication and we set up the MongoDB also, and we learned about Next.js, and also we learned about context API, and also we learned about how to create a repo and how to deploy application in the Vercel. So now we have full stack Next.js application with secure Firebase auth, real database with MongoDB, production ready deployment on Vercel. And that's it for this tutorial. If you found this helpful, make sure to like, share, subscribe to the channel to keep learning full stack development, Firebase and Next.js with me. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.